This is Mr. Hanna. We're doing lesson 07, which is perimeter. Perimeter is the distance around a figure. So the simplest way to do perimeter is add up all the sides. If I have a square, and this is 3, and this is, well, that doesn't look like 4. That looks like 2. If this is 3, and this is 2, this will have to be 2 also, and this will have to be 3. So the perimeter is 2 plus 2 plus 3 plus 3, which is 10 units. Since there are no units given, you always write units. And it's units by itself because it is a linear distance. Now, there's a quicker way to do rectangles. If you notice, I have 2 widths, and I have 2 lengths. So I could also go perimeter is 2 times the length plus 2 times the width. If we use this same problem, 2 times 2 plus 2 times 3 is still 10 units. There's another formula for this. This is a distributed form of P equals 2 times the quantity L plus W. We will talk about distributive property and the differences between these two many times. One of the major things of algebra is this distributive property, taking this 2 and putting it with both of the things inside the parentheses. So perimeter for square, it works the same way or rectangle, if I have a parallelogram. Except it's not a length and a width. But I have these slants, and they act like these widths. So if this is 5 inches this time, and let's say that's 3 inches, I could go, the perimeter is 2 times 5 plus 3, which is 2 times 8, which is 16, but this time I don't write units because they gave me units, inches. Now, if you have a square is your friend. Assume that's a square. My art is not great. If that is 6, then that is 6, then that is 6, then that is 6. So there's a shortcut for a square. Perimeter is 4 times the side length. So in this case, let's make this meters this time. The perimeter will be 4 times 6, which is 24, and we put meters.
Scroll that down, and then there's the page. There's extended page.
Oh, there we go. All right. There's another figure that we have to work with, and that's a circle. Circles don't have sides. And a circle doesn't have a perimeter. But it has something like a perimeter. It's called the circumference. Circumference is like perimeter, but for a circle. And mine's off a little bit too. Circumference has 2 formulas, and they're related. Circumference is 2 times the diameter, or circumference is 2 times the radius. Whoops, I screwed that up. Back up.
Hopefully you brought a pencil to class.
That's why you bring a pencil, because you make mistakes. Circumference is pi times the diameter. Diameter is all the way across through the center. Or circumference is pi times 2 times the radius, because a radius is halfway across the circle. So if I wanted it to go all the way across, you multiply it by 2. Now, sometimes they're nice and they don't make you use 3.14 for pi. Sometimes they say just find it in terms of pi. So if I had a circle that had a diameter of 5 inches, and they wanted me to find it in terms of pi, it would be 5 pi inches. That's all we do. But if I want an approximate value, I would go 5 times 3.14 to get 15.7 inches. And that's approximate.
Yes. 45. 18.4 to
15.7.
3.14 times 5?
Yeah, 14 times 5 is
Oh,
7.
you're right.
Yeah, I know.
I'm thinking
It's
three.
the end of the day. So that's circumference, and that's perimeter. Now, we also have to talk about area.
Here, here's the page.
That's big. Area, you can think of area as how many little blocks make up the shape. So, if I have a rectangle, and I tell you that is 4 by 3, you can envision this as being 1, 2, 3, 4 blocks across, and 1, 2, 3 blocks up and down. If I extend these little blocks, you can count that there are 12 blocks. Well, we get area is equal to length times width for a rectangle. So 3 times 4 is 12 units squared. Area is always in square units. Because you're multiplying this unit times this unit. If I had another one, say I tell you that one's 6 and that one's 3 inches and inches. Well, area equals 6 times 3 is 18 inches squared. That's area of a rectangle. Now, if we have a triangle, a little bit trickier. Say I have a triangle like this. It's 3 inches. That looks terrible. Let me write it again. 3 inches by 5 inches. With a triangle, you always need to know where the height is. And the height is the part that makes a square corner. In this case, this is a right triangle. Sometimes they're not like that. But the way to think about a triangle is, if I extended from this corner over and then up like that, and make a rectangle, that triangle is half of that rectangle. So, the area of a triangle is 1/2 length times width. Now, sometimes you'll see this 1/2 the base times the height. Those are just different terms. This would be your base. And this would be your height. But they mean the same thing as length and width in this particular instant. So, this problem, I would have 1/2 of 3 times 5. 3 times 5 is 15. 1/2 of 15. Whoops. Smart words yourself on your draw. 1/2 of 15 is 7.5 or 7.5 inches, and it's always squared. We got one more thing to talk about on this lesson. Circles. The area of a circle is pi times the radius squared. Has to be the radius. So if they give you a diameter, I have a circle, and they tell me my diameter is 8 feet. It's a pretty big circle. The first thing I have to do, if the diameter is 8, I have to find the radius. The radius is always half of the diameter, so half of 8 is 4 feet. Important. Now, because we square it, the area, we go 4 squared. And you always do your powers before you do your multiplication. If it's nice and they want it in terms of pi, we get 16 pi feet squared. If it's not nice and they don't want it in terms of pi, then we have to go 16 times approximately 3.14. Hang on while I get a calculator, because I know it's like 49 something, maybe 50. Yeah, I think it is, because it comes out at 1.4.
48 and then 0.14.
Oh, wait, clear. Not 48 times 3.14, 16 times 3.14. 50.24? Yeah, I've done this a million times. 50.24, and that's an approximation, which means we don't put an equal sign. We put the wavy signs, because it's an approximate. Feet squared. Nicely, though, most of the time on your EOI, they go with that one. And that's area and perimeter.